This is the Dover Download Podcast. My name is Christopher Parker, and for the past 25 years, I've had the pleasure of working with, learning from, and talking to a variety of volunteer, staff, and community members. This podcast explores conversations, activities, and a variety of policies and programs which exist here in Dover to improve the community in one way or another. In November of odd-numbered years, the city holds municipal elections. During those elections, the city council and the school board are elected or re-elected. They then take office the following January and the first Monday of the month. Between then, there's a lot of activity that goes on behind the scenes and some in front of the cameras. Today, we're going to sit down with City Manager Mike Joyal to talk about that intervening 2 months and what occurs and how we look to prep incoming councilors to do the best job they can do. Mike, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Chris. Glad to be here.
In my time here, I've seen these orientations, and they've kind of grown. What's the genesis for doing an orientation with the city council?
It's primarily just good business sense. You have a group of individuals that, through the election, have been chosen to represent the citizens of the community and basically become the board of directors for a very large corporation, the municipal corporation. And taking on that responsibility, there's a lot for individuals to know and learn. Our citizens, through a vote on the city charter several years back, recognize that need, and they put a provision in our charter that requires that before a new council takes office, that they participate in a orientation session to get them up to speed on a whole number of issues and procedural matters and the business activities that they're going to be involved in. So we have an obligation as staff to put that together and make that opportunity available for the newly elected council.
Part of that is the relationship with the school board. And I know the school board attends one of the orientation sessions in conjunction with the council. Have you seen that that's been a positive?
Yeah, I think so. Many years back, there was certainly some differences of opinion or dissension, or definitely wasn't collegiality between the council and school board that we've seen in recent years, and appreciation for each other's different roles that they serve on behalf of the citizens. And I think through the orientation session, certainly right out of the gate, before the newly elected school board and newly elected city council takes office, it's an opportunity for them to together sit and learn about their responsibilities and the issues and tasks that they'll be taking on during their 2-year term. And by doing that together, I think that kind of creates some mutual understanding and mutual respect between the various members, which we've seen in recent years, and them being much more collaborative and understanding of each other's positions and roles. And although sometimes they may not be in agreement, at least there's some respect for where each body is coming from.
One of the things I think is a hallmark of these conversations that we have had in the past and will have in the upcoming time is that the reinforcement of what you said about the corporation aspect of it. A lot of times people just think of the city of Dover as the community, but it's really not. The city itself is a municipal corporation, and that corporation has its board of directors, has its executive staff, and part of what I think really hits home in the orientation is walking them through the council manager form of government, walking them through those nuances of where their roles and responsibilities lie and where your role and staff's responsibilities lie. Is that a pushback or a surprise at times, or is there pretty much an understanding walking in of how that might work?
Well, ultimately, as far as the organization is concerned, our municipal government, we are organized as a municipal corporation under state laws, but no matter what, the community comes first. Community is our purpose. They are our customers. They are the reason that our organization, our local government, the staff, the elected officials, the various volunteers, boards, commissions, all serve to benefit and support the community. The orientation program for the new incoming councilors and school board members, as well as the staff as well, is sort of an opportunity to remind us all of that obligation that we have to the community, to serve the citizens, to conduct our business. And how we conduct our business is obviously important. One of the purposes of the orientation is to make sure that we understand how we can and should go about in conducting our business to serve the community. We have to work within the bounds of the state law, obviously constitutional, both federal and state constitutional requirements. And with that in mind and the need to serve the community, that orientation program really provides us a grounding to understand that what it is we can and can't do in serving the community.
So the requirement to do the orientation is in the charter. Does the charter actually lay out what is supposed to be part of the orientation, or is that really more up to experience and past practice of seeing what questions come up, what guidance is needed?
The charter requires that there be an orientation program, and then from the charter, city councils in past years have adopted an ordinance which lays out more specifics about what should be included in the orientation program. Items like, obviously, just local governance, most importantly, understanding of ethical considerations, finance considerations, legal operational requirements for things like right to know law, the understanding that here in New Hampshire, we do not have home rule. We are a state that local communities can only do or are allowed to do what the state allows them to do by law. We cannot, as a community, even if we choose as a community to want to do certain things, if the state law doesn't allow us to do it, then we are prohibited from doing that. So that the orientation program provides an opportunity to go through those topics.
This upcoming elected council has 5 returning councilors and 4 new councilors. In the past, there's been less turnover, and I'm sure there's been many years with more turnover. How does the returning councilor count impact the way you run the orientation?
I think if anything, I mean, it does make a difference. If we had a completely new set of members on the school board or city council, there's a lack of institutional knowledge. There's a lack of historical understanding of why certain decisions may have been made and all the details that go behind that. That's one of the most important things or reasons why we have a representative form of government with elected city councils and school board members, is because it provides them, when they are actually sitting in office, an opportunity to dig into the details and understand the nuances of whatever particular issue they're dealing with. And then on behalf of the residents or citizens who have put them in office, make a decision with all of that information in hand. When you have returning counselors or school board members, they bring with them that institutional knowledge, that history of why certain decisions may have been made in the past, whether they agreed with those or not. But during the orientation program, the knowledge, the history of those returning counselors is important because it helps to inform the incoming new counselors of, again, why certain decisions may have been made or may have had to be made because of certain requirements in state law or constitutional requirements. And so the returning counselors and school board members, they really contribute to the orientation program by bringing that history and knowledge, their own experiences to share with the new members to get them up to speed as quickly as possible so that they can bring their own knowledge and information to the decision-making process.
So in a normal course, a city council holds at general a regular meeting, a special meeting, or a workshop. Are the orientation sessions considered one of those forms, or is it different because it's more organizational in nature and not everyone has been sworn in at that point?
Yeah, the way that the orientation sessions are conducted, although they're open to the public and so forth, they're not really considered meetings or workshops or so forth, because they do include individuals that have yet to actually be officially sworn into office. So we do conduct them open and available for the public to participate, but they are not considered formal meetings. There are no decisions that are made. There are no, active discussions as far as taking positions on particular issues or so forth. It is primarily just an opportunity to review the rules and requirements of becoming an elected official here in the city of Dover.
And is it lecture style with you presenting,
Typically, when we do have returning school board members and council members, it's a collaborative presentation of information. There's an agenda that we go through that covers, core topics such as items like ethics and the right to know law, certainly being two key aspects of public officials' responsibilities. And we get into procedural matters and how meetings are conducted. For example, how to use Robert's rules. We also discuss the processes that will be taking place. For example, the new school board member and the city council will be immersed immediately into the budget development and review and approval process. So we'll just touch upon what that process will be. We also go over the requirements of the citizens have put in place for how we conduct the business of the community through the council manager form of government.
I know in years past, when there's been new councils and new school boards elected, we've done facilities tours and things like that. Is that outside of the orientation process, or is that adjunct to it? How do you view those?
We typically do not do a tour as part of the orientation program. Usually after the council has taken office, so school board members have taken office after January, the beginning of January, each of the respective boards will have an opportunity to tour city facilities with staff and see basically the behind the scenes view of how services are delivered, the equipment, the facilities, the infrastructure that supports quality of life here in the city of Dover.
And then one of the things that I know is again, not necessarily part of the orientation, but occurs after the council has been sworn in, is a goal setting session. And that's usually sometime within the first 90 days, but again, not part of the orientation. But that's another piece of thinking strategically about the municipal corporation and having that council input at the start of their term to help guide the budget and other documents and policies as we move forward.
After the orientation session happens, which will be actually in the middle of December, we then, right after the new year, there's an inauguration ceremony that takes place where the councils will and school board members will be officially sworn into office. And at that point, they will officially be the elected city council and school board for the Dover community. At that point forward, there's a number of things that transpire to get them on their feet and moving forward with making decisions on behalf of the community. As I said, they're immersed immediately in the budget development process. So certainly one of the most important things that any organization or body can have is, I guess, some a roadmap, if you will, some goals, some objectives that they would like to achieve over time. So it gives them some focus, but more importantly, it also gives some focus for myself and the staff to understand where the priorities are of the folks that have been elected to represent our community. So after the orientation session, after the inauguration ceremony, after the new councilors have taken office, in addition to some additional informational sessions and workshops, we will schedule, as you said, typically within the first 90 days, an opportunity for the elected officials to sit and actually discuss and come to some agreement on some common goals that they would like to achieve during their 2-year term. These could be financial goals, they could be community development goals, whatever they see as pressing needs or projects, programs, so forth that the city needs to accomplish and that they want to see the city accomplish on behalf of the community. And that will take place, like I said, within probably the first 90 days or so. And then the goals are assembled in a document, and that becomes a guiding document for decision-making that the staff and I use. I'm bringing presentations and projects and proposals to the council, but also the council relies upon to reinforce and remind them of items that they have identified as being of importance and being given priority for the community.
To wrap up, as you noted, we will have the orientation 2 weeks in December, a Thursday and then a following Wednesday. And then come January 5th, people are invited to come to the inauguration and witness the swearing in of the school board and the city council, and they can watch the city website and the Channel 22 feeds to find out what time and all of the details. Appreciate you coming in today and talking about the orientation process and what new counselors and new school board members have to look forward to in the coming month.
Well, thank you, Chris. Appreciate the opportunity to share this information.
Dover has a wealth of history in its over 400 years of existence. Coming up, Mike Gillis is going to share some of that history with us.
Dover's early firefighters were mostly volunteers, organized as companies. Many of these were called hook and ladder companies, consisting of fire apparatus that carried long ladders to reach the upper levels of buildings and hooks used to tear down ceilings, doors, and obstructions. Dover's oldest hook and ladder company was formed this week on December 21st in 1831. The company was initially called simply the Volunteer Hook and Ladder Company. 3 decades later, the volunteer group would be called the Invincible Hook and Ladder Company, and later Lincoln Hook and Ladder Company No. 1. Despite the name changes, the company continued to respond to fires, and by the early 1900s, was the oldest company to operate continually since its formation. This hook and ladder company would also carry on a tradition every year of its existence, an annual banquet. These banquets were renowned in Dover and often attracted news coverage from throughout the region. Foster's Daily Democrat would write in its coverage of the 1911 banquet, quote, "Everyone knows, and history long ago indicted it in indelible ink, that the members of the Hooks have a reputation to subduing qualifications that cannot be excelled. Hospitable, open-hearted, and liberal too, when festive occasion comes, they lead the van every time, and as successful as have been the other 79 preceding banquets, that of last night showers excelsior upon the captain down." At its 80th annual banquet on December 21st, 1911, the Knights of Columbus Hall was packed with hundreds of people, including many of the city's dignitaries. The banquet began at 8 that evening, and after an hour of socializing, guests were treated to a feast, followed by remarks from the mayor, city clerk, city treasurer, the city messenger, and, of course, Captain Charles Clark. Then it was on to the entertainment, which consisted of music, comedy, and tall tales, all of which lasted well beyond midnight. By 1924, the Lincoln Hook and Ladder Company was the oldest horse-drawn fire apparatus in New England. That same year, though, it would retire its horse-drawn ladder truck, built in 1889, and begin to use its first motorized ladder truck. The fire department planned a large field day that year to celebrate the new motorized truck. The Lincoln Hook and Ladder Company would celebrate its 100th anniversary in 1931 and would continue to be recognized as one of the oldest fire companies in the state for many more years. Today, Dover's fire department is known as Dover Fire and Rescue and remains one of the state's oldest fire departments.
Thanks for listening to the Dover Download this week. If you like what you heard, subscribe through your favorite podcast aggregator. And if you have something you want to hear a topic on, let us know. Finally, this is just one of the many ways we share information about the city of Dover. You can subscribe to the Dover Downloads email newsletter every week or other newsletters that we have by going to the City of Dover homepage, www.dover.nh.gov. Have a great week.